Hello and welcome to Salome's Writer Therapy, where you and your writing connect. To struggle with your story, especially to such an extent that you slam against a wall with a big neon sign flashing writer's block, can be overwhelming and even crippling in some ways. But do not fear, in today's episode, I'm going to share some tips and techniques on how you can get back to writing your story. And don't forget to check out the free guide I've created in the description below to help you overcome writer's block. So grab your favorite beverage and a cozy spot and let's dive into today's episode. So what is writer's block? The definition of writer's block is this. It is the condition of being unable to think of what to write or how to proceed with writing. Now let me put it in another way. It is those times when your characters end up doing things on the page that you did not intend and you don't know how to fix it. It is when you can't see what needs to happen in your plot to reach the next plot point. It is when you look at a scene and you don't know what conflict or tension to add. It is all those times when your story peters out into a black abyss of what now. But writer's block isn't just about your story. It is also the worry that is born in ignorance of the writing craft. So it's the worry about how to write dialogue, or how to start or end a scene, or how to weave different plot points together. It is the fear of purple prose, white room syndrome, head hopping, and info dumps. It is the worry about the right or wrong usage of subtext, pacing, and themes, or the dreaded punctuation and grammar rules. Writer's block is the coalescence of one or more of these things until you are paralyzed. Until you slam into a wall so high, thick, and wide that you can't see yourself beyond it. Where you question not only your ability to write, but also that spark that caused you to put pen to paper in the first place. How did I ever think I could do this? Write a story? No, I must be crazy to think I can do that. You get so stuck in your head that you can't see what the tapestry of your story can look like because you're so focused on the one or two frayed threads that's in your hand. And that, my friend, is writer's block. A bleak picture, right? And the thing is, all of us, whether you are a newbie or a professional writer, can suffer from writer's block. I want you to understand something though. It doesn't make you stupid or a bad writer or any of the other names that you call yourself if you have writer's block. In my opinion, it is just one more facet of a natural writing process. It happens to all of us. The only difference perhaps between a newbie and a pro is how you handle it, how you overcome it to get back to writing. So today I'm going to share some tips with you on how you can overcome writer's block, whatever your blocks are, so you can get back to the fun part of writing. The first thing I would suggest is that you inspect and study your block or blocks. And once you know what exactly is holding you back, you can try the techniques I'll share to work through it. Now, to overcome writer's block, you need to understand what it is for you in this moment with this story. You need to inspect, analyze, and study the block until you know it and can put a name to it. And yes, sometimes it's more than one thing. And in that case, I'd suggest you take it one block at a time. Don't try to fix it all at once because it might just be too overwhelming and you're just back where you started. And to help you figure out what your blocks are, I have a list of possibilities in the free guide in the description below, so please check it out. The thing to remember is, whatever keeps you from writing, you can get through it. It might take time and some work, but I implore you, do not give up on yourself or your writing. Okay, so let's get to the techniques that you can try to overcome your writer's block. After each technique, I will point out whether it is helpful for either story-related blocks or craft-related blocks, or both. The techniques will also be in the free guide that I've listed in the description below. So let's dive in, shall we? Firstly, read or watch stories. Sometimes it helps to see what others have done right, so you can jumpstart your own creativity. So reread some of your favorite stories or books, or watch your favorite shows or movies, and get inspired. Make notes if you need to of those instances that pertain to the blocks that you are struggling with at the moment. This technique can help especially when your block is story or craft related. The next technique is research or learning. When you don't know how to do something, the only thing you can do is learn how to do it. So read some craft books, watch some how-to videos, talk to other writers, but learn the things that will melt those blocks that's standing in your way. This technique can help especially when your block is craft related. Next is change of scenery. It might sound strange, but it does help sometimes to get a different perspective. Change the location of where you write. Switch up the tools that you use to write with. The key is to get back to your creativity, and sometimes all you need is to get a different perspective. And this technique can help, especially when your blocks are story related, to jumpstart that creativity and imagination. The next technique is to outline or to brainstorm. Now, this is not only for the plotters out there. If you get stuck, it can be a huge help to outline or brainstorm what you think needs to happen or needs to change. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can make a bullet point list, you can write down on sticky notes, or you can write a 5,000 word journal entry. The thing with outlining and brainstorming is it's just a way to order your thoughts and get yourself back into the story. This technique can help especially when your block is story related. The next one is feedback. Now, this might be a bit more difficult one if you're a newbie writer, because we all are a bit stressful when we need to share our work. But another way to get through your blocks is to get someone else's opinion on how to proceed, or give you some ideas, or be a soundboard for things that you might want to try. Just make sure that it's someone whose advice you'd actually follow. This technique can help especially when your block is either story or craft related. The next technique is to take a break. Now, this is a difficult one, I know, because you want to get through it, right? You want to be actively working to overcome the blocks. But the thing is, sometimes you need to take a break. Do something else for a minute. It can help to recalibrate your brain, and you might have a new outlook when you return to your story. And no, I don't suggest an indefinite break. Take a day or two, then see where you are. If you're still stuck or you're still unsure, take another day. You'd be surprised at the solutions that your subconscious mind can come up with if you allow it the space to breathe. This technique can help especially when your block is story related. And lastly, embrace imperfection. Remember that your first draft doesn't have to be perfect. Give yourself permission to write not so good now, because you will edit and revise it later. Try not to take your imperfections too seriously when you're drafting. This technique can help especially when your block is story or craft related. Writer's block may feel in the moment like an insurmountable obstacle, but if you can break it down to the basics of what it is, then you can do something about it. You can overcome it. And remember to check out the free guide in the description to help you determine what your blocks are and how you can get back to writing. So that's it for today's episode. If you found this episode helpful, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell. And if you have a question or future episode suggestions, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. So, until next time, may your creativity flow freely and your fingers dance upon the keys. Keep writing with joy and stay connected. Cheers.